In October 2018, I was diagnosed with dilated cardiomyopathy, which came as a huge shock because before that I was perfectly fit and healthy, worked full time as a nurse in the NHS. So it really did become a massive, massive shock. I think I was in denial for the first 6 months. Started on a variety of medication, drug therapy, didn't work. Nothing seemed to work. I did everything, tried diet, tried to keep fit, but my cardiac output and function was just not improving at all. I went down to the Jubilee. The first time I went down would have been in the March of 2019. Met with Professor Gardner and the team there. They did every test known to man. I was in and out and up and down and pulled through everywhere, but I have to say at every point the staff were professional, they were kind, the whole service was just so person-centred. I was just so impressed. I felt really confident that we would get to the bottom of this and maybe I could start living again. As a result of the test, I needed to have a pacemaker implanted with a defib. Came home again, had regular checkups in my local hospital, which was Oban, Lorna Niles District Hospital. No difference. In fact, the cardiac output was getting worse, function wasn't great. I was feeling pretty miserable. I was very breathless, just not living at all. So I went down again to the Jubilee in the November of 2020, just kind of in between coming out of one lockdown before we went into the next lockdown. So I was quite lucky to get down and be able to be seen. Again, whole barrage of tests. There was no improvement whatsoever. So at the end of the 5 days of tests, Professor Gardner spoke to me, and with the transplant nurse, Francis, said I would be, if I wanted to, and I was happy to go on the transplant list, on the non-urgent transplant list, which I agreed to because I wanted to feel better. So I came home and put it out of my mind because it was coming up to Christmas. I actually never thought it would happen because that doesn't happen to people like me. You don't go from being fit and healthy to suddenly needing a heart transplant. So on the 1st of April, I'd come back from collecting my car from the garage, and being the 1st of April, being April Fool's Day, when the phone call came and it was Francis Gallagher from the transplant team, I thought it was an April Fool's joke from my friend, which I know sounds very flippant about it, but I really did. But it wasn't. So by the time I got my partner, she came home, told her she thought I was joking as well, because again, being April Fool's Day, it only happened to me. They had to get a helicopter mobilised. So as it was, my friend was on the ambulance team that day. So they drove me down to the airfield, left Mull about 3:30, got down into the ward at NSD ward. And the staff they were just so friendly and professional, and just so everything was explained quickly because we didn't have a lot of time. And by 6:30, I was in theatre. When the anaesthetist came in to sign all the forms, and he mentioned this and he mentioned that, and I just thought, yeah, I'll sign. Let's get this over and done with. I still actually don't think I actually realised the enormity of it. I woke up, I think, on the Saturday morning, and I felt so well that I actually said, when Johnny, the consultant, came in, "Oh, it didn't happen then." But it did. So I spent 6 days in intensive care, which is an experience. I have to admit, it was an experience. 6-7 days afterwards, I went back to NSD ward, which was just, the experience there was so positive. The staff were just incredible. They were professional, they were personable, and every aspect of my care was person-centred. Unfortunately, due to COVID again, we were in lockdown, so I was there on my own for 6 weeks. No family, no partner, nobody could come and visit me. 2 weeks into everything seemed to be going okay. Recovery was going really well, and then unfortunately, I had some fluid retention, which meant I had to get a fusion, pericardial infusion, and I had to go back to theatre, which was a bit of a blow. My kidney function was very poor, and I was feeling pretty miserable. One member of staff in particular, I would just want to say a massive thank you, was Hazel, the staff nurse. She was just incredible. She spent time with me when I was really low and feeling really miserable, and she just was incredible. A huge thank you to her, as were all the team, but Hazel really did stand out. From Professor Gardner to Johnny to Jane to Alison and the medical team, they were just brilliant. And the nurses in the transplant team are just great. They're so approachable, they're so personable, that I know I can phone anytime, day or night, which is such a relief living up here in the middle of nowhere, that they've got somebody at the end of the phone. The whole experience has just shown how, in my opinion, after years and years and years and years and years of working with health service, that's how healthcare should be delivered. Positively, professionally, and with a human touch that I think sometimes we lose sight of as healthcare professionals. But the Jubilee just do it. They do it so well.